Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Wiegmann, along with my favorite co-host. That would be Mitch Glenn.
Hey, I am back. I'm back, baby. Caught 2 fish today.
Were they big?
They were quite large, yeah.
All right. Well, let's keep going. Who's our guest?
Man, we got a guy that knows how to cook fish.
Like that?
And crawfish and pig and you name it. If it can be cooked with fire and meat, we have Kendall Frederick, the guy that makes some of the best seasoning I've ever had in my life.
There you go. We had that tonight.
I appreciate that, guys.
Let's go over here. Let's find out. You do a lot of things and you cook a lot of food. What's the whole premise of what you do on social media?
I have a YouTube channel, and I started 2 years ago, and it was just just getting out there and filming stuff.
Right.
And then started doing it a little more often. Next thing I knew, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. Started out mostly doing the fishing. Then I got into doing these catch, clean, and cooks, where we'll go out, we'll catch the alligator, we'll clean the alligator, and then cook it. People seem to like that kind of stuff, so started doing more stuff like that. I did turtles and crawfish and crabs, and it seems to do well. So I think people like that, and just one thing led to another. Started making my own seasoning, kind of fit the channel with the cooking part. So I started doing that. Came out with my own products. Started doing some hats and shirts and stuff like that. But
Mitch,
really enjoyed it.
Mitch, you like to eat.
I do. He just fed us so much I can barely maintain my sanity right now.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well, I'm telling you, I do a lot of like cowboy cooking, chuck wagon type stuff.
Right.
And believe me, when I come across seafood, I see this going on with fire and seafood and boudin, and then this seasoning on it. It's like, hey, you got my full undivided attention.
I'm glad y'all liked it.
I'm really good at eating it, though. Everybody's got to be good at something.
I heard that.
So what's the wildest, craziest thing you've ever cooked? And what's your most popular thing that you've ever cooked?
I tell you what, the shrimp and rice that we did tonight is really popular. People seem to like that. The crawfish etouffee is good. People seem to like the fish. But the craziest thing I've eaten, probably rattlesnake.
Rattlesnake?
I hadn't done a video on that, but
did you catch?
I did.
And clean?
I did catch and clean the rattlesnakes.
You did?
We fed some guys at the camp, and it was kind of 50-50. Some enjoyed it. The other one's like, no way.
What does...
it's kind of tastes like chicken, like everything else. It wasn't bad.
So it don't taste like snake?
Nah, I don't know. It was pretty good.
See, it was good.
It wasn't bad. And I've done the pigs, the turtles, alligators, and crawfish. I did a catfish catch, clean, and cook. That's not crazy, but things like that. And I also do some gardening stuff, too. I do do a lot of sweet corn, and I plant a bunch of okra. So I've had some videos also, growing it, starting it from scratch, showing the whole process.
Right.
And also harvesting and maybe even cooking the okra. And so I have some of those videos as well.
Yep.
So
my kind of stuff right there, man. Catch it, kill it, or grow it.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, we'd have never noticed tonight.
Yeah, build a fire and let's have dinner and get up and do it again tomorrow.
So most of the time on your show, when you're doing your show, you have something in mind when you go somewhere to do that, right?
Yes, sir. Sure.
You have like an agenda. So what do you think you have coming up that's really crazy? Like, are you going to eat a giraffe or,
Nothing that crazy.
Raccoons, possums.
Raccoons?
I have another guy in Louisiana that we're friends, and he just did a Nutra catch, clean, and cook, and he did a gumbo.
Right.
So I don't know. I may try something like that.
Okay.
I may try the Nutra or some other things, but
The Nutra,
We'll see.
yeah, Nutra is supposed to be good, is it not?
I
mean, I've heard all kinds of people say that Nutra is supposed to be good.
They say I hadn't tried it.
Tastes a little bit like spotted owl, don't it?
That's it. I'm not scared. I'll try.
I'm joking.
We will be cutting that out.
I'm joking.
No, but I would try it.
He's from Arkansas. He's actually from Oklahoma, so you have to forgive him. So we are out there crappie fishing today. Pretty exciting. Mitch says, hey, I'm going to catch a big one.
We caught a few nice ones. We didn't do good. I mean, we had 5 or 6, but the size was nice, and we had a good time getting in those cypress trees, and it was fun.
Yep.
So
we enjoyed it.
Tell us a little bit about that technique you were using to catch them.
I use it's kind of like a fly rod with a little spinning reel,
Uh-huh.
and we'll flip it up in the trees. You can kind of cast to them, get away from them.
Right.
And we just kind of pop the float. The fish seem to like it. I think the float attracts them. They see the bait falling, and I think it might be a reaction bite, but it brings them up. Usually, it didn't work well today, but
right. Well, tell us the setup.
Back home, it works well.
Tell us the setup that you were using to catch them. Like, tell us about the cork. It wasn't a round weighted cork.
This is
right?
I think it's a Carmel. It's a cigar, 1.5-inch cigar float, and it's pegged with a little plastic peg.
Uh-huh.
And I typically fish about 2.5 foot deep, and I use my own hair jigs. I tie my own jigs, and a 6-pound test, little spinning reel on this little. It's an 8'6" tomahawk fly rod. It's a Walmart special. It seems to work well, and we just we'll throw the bait under the trees and pop it out in the flats, whatever. But it seems to draw some fish up to it, and it works pretty good.
Is that just a springtime deal, or is that
I've caught good in the fall with it. Usually during the hunting season, I'm out hunting. I like to do a lot of bow hunting, so I don't get out in the wintertime as much. But I have caught them in the winter on the same technique. Back home, the fish never really go real deep. We'll catch them in December, even
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So kind of a combination of that really small float laying there and making that little splash on the water.
And it seems to work.
You think that little splash or something attracts
I think so. I got a lot of people doing that back home and even across the country.
That little bitty small float like that, it kind of almost sounds just like when a shad flips the water.
Yeah, it's not a big. It just slides across the top. It's kind of a subtle splash, and I think
if you can make that fish turn his head thinking it was a shad, and then he sees that little silver jig falling, he's got it.
That's right. It seems to work pretty good.
And so you saw him working his jig, but he uses hair jigs, so they're not all out there. So what would they use if they were going to use a PICO lure, and what jig head, Mitch?
Oh, for sure.
And what size jig head?
For sure, if you're going to use this time of year, you kind of want a slow fall, so you're going to look for a 32 ounce marabou or a 16th, and then we build that bunny butt that's in a 16th ounce, which it would work real good in this. It's made out of rabbit hair on the tail.
Right.
And it would be a good option for that. Another good option, what I was using today was like a scope-eye jig head with a curl tail on it. That lets me cover more water.
Right.
To be able to throw more and more and more and more and just try to put it in front of their face somewhere.
You picked one up right away doing that.
Yeah. It started off looking like it might be a good day.
I was like, oh, God, this guy's going to show us up for sure.
I don't think you brought – it was acid rain was the color of his grub, and he did not bring enough of them. He should have brought a truckload full because that is a hot color down here on Lake Washington.
If any of you are in the Mississippi Delta area and have any extras that you'd like to part with,
Mitch will be the one out there begging for lures.
Well, I've got 3 or 4 of them. I remember the tree that they're swinging from. So
I wasn't going to mention the tree thing because I think everyone got in a cypress tree today.
Oh, I'm telling you what, we seen one tree today. It was in full bloom, didn't we?
I saw that.
Yeah. Had lots of
know the
corks.
crappie are moving in when you see multiple bobbers hanging from cypress limbs. You know they're when them cypress trees are blooming, the crappie are around there somewhere.
So what else do you fish for besides crappie? Are you doing some red fishing
I
down
do
there?
a little bit of red. I had a nice bay boat, sold it a couple of years ago, and I did quite a bit of the red fishing.
Here, I was just going to invite myself down to you and go red fishing.
I think they're
with
buying
you.
I think they're buying pretty good actually right now. But kind of got away from it, mostly just sockeye fishing now, crappie fishing.
Yeah.
Really, and reservoirs that you're kind of focusing on down that way?
Back home, we have a few lakes: Spanish Lake, Lake Martin, Henderson, and I'll go out through the basin. Miller's Lake; those are all home lakes. And but I like to get up to Toledo Bend and do quite a bit of fishing at this time of year too.
I've
been to Poverty Point, made a few trips up there. Somewhere around Tensall, we have a few places we go, but most of it's back home, you know.
Yeah, and you clean them, cook them, eat them.
Do all that for sure.
Yeah.
So what was really the starting point? Like really, you at some point you said you just started doing it, but what were you pushed into doing this YouTube thing, or did you just put a GoPro camera out on your boat and then
I think the first one I did.
This sounds like fun.
I think the first, and it may still be the first one on my channel, is just filming some alligators out in the basin. You know, I had 35 in one area.
Wow.
And I was like, this would be cool. And I was like, I'm going to put that on YouTube. And just started from there and just started doing a few other things. And then I saw there could be, you know, a little money made in it, and then started doing it and got my channel monetized. Right. Got more interested in it, and just kind of led from there.
So we made a spoon to knock them in the head with and something to season them up with and eat them, right?
That's right.
No, I know that's for taming teenagers, or I'm sorry, stirring the pot. Yeah.
You know what 35 gators call Mitch swimming across the pond? Lunch.
That? That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what they call it. But I mean, that's an interesting thing. So, what's your most popular one of all of them? Which one's got the most hits on?
I have a pig video where I trap the pigs. It's called 5 or 6 pigs.
Wild pigs
up in North Louisiana. And I showed cleaning the pigs, brought them back home, showed cutting them up and then marinating them, seasoning them. And I cooked the jambalaya, had a good time, had a few friends over. Right. Put it on YouTube. It had maybe 10,000 views the first couple of weeks and kind of just slowed down. Also got on TikTok. I did a little TikTok showing the pig video. And I think it must have got some interest in it because the views started going up. All of a sudden, it just blew up. That video is at 5.8 million views today. Wow! And it's still growing. It's probably still my most profitable video. It's still making money, and so I was like, I need to do another pig video. Did a second one, and that one's at 1.2 million views. And I was like, I need to do a third one. People seem to be interested in those wild pigs. I'm not sure what it's about. But, I'm trying to get one of those here and there, between the fishing and doing all the other stuff.
Down in your area, though, there are a large percentage of wild pigs.
The population is blowing up. I mean,
there's nothing you can do to slow it down either.
I have 5 traps, and we can't kill them all. They just... It's blowing up.
But that's bacon videos.
Oh, that's right.
Bacon's what holds the world together, man. It's the duct tape of the kitchen, man. It's what makes the world go round.
I think one year we caught probably close to 280 pigs.
Wow.
I cleaned a lot of pigs, actually. I think we had 32 in one trap was our biggest trap. Really? I had a friend, I think one weekend we cleaned about 80 pigs was our top weekend.
What do you do with 80 pigs?
Eat.
We gave a lot away. We didn't throw any away. We cleaned every single pig. Some people just dump them, but we hate to waste the meat. So
Glad to hear that.
We'll sit there and clean every one and give the meat away if we don't take it ourselves.
Yeah.
But
so is there switching gears a little bit, is there someone who's your favorite person to fish with? I mean, besides Mitch.
You're putting him on the spot here now.
I mean, I
just spent a couple hours out there with me.
I said besides Mitch. Well, is there someone that
I probably
you
have
like
to say Brian Evner, a good friend of mine. He's been in probably 4 of the fishing videos with me. And you have certain guys you just fish well with. Right. Me and him have the same, thought process while we fishing, and we're both pretty quiet guys, and we just enjoy fishing together. So I would say Brian Ebner.
And is he down from that same area you are from?
Yes, yes sir. He's pretty much right in the same area as me.
Was that the boat we are in today?
No, that's Shane. Shane's my first cousin, and me and Shane also fish together quite a bit. Right. But, yeah, Shane's a good fisherman, a great cook himself.
What do you think it takes to be a good crappie fisherman down in your area, down that Louisiana area and that Toledo Bend area?
I think it's just being on the water and, staying on top of the fish. We have a lot of good fishermen back home. Some are better than me. They stay on the water and they stay on top of the fish. And,
right.
It's staying on them. I believe that's the biggest key.
Well,
knowing where they at.
That takes us to tackle time, because we love talking about tackle. And you know what? Mitch is here, and he said he's going to talk about tackle time. Tell us about catching crappie down in Louisiana. You have some stores that order stuff from Louisiana. What's the most popular thing that the anglers are ordering from PICO Lures?
Right now, the hottest thing going is slab sauce.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's as you've seen today, and we proved it twice, plastics or hair, doesn't really matter. You have to cover enough water to get it in front of a fish's face.
Right.
Those fish are coming in, they're going out, coming in, going out, coming in. I want to spawn, I'm not going to spawn. I want to spawn, I don't want to spawn. You put a little bit of slab sauce on your bait, and obviously today a curl tail was aggravating them more than about anything else. But if you put a little bit of slab sauce on there, it becomes food at that point in time. So it was like, we probably 80% by volume of what we shipped today from back home was slab sauce.
Wow.
That'll start being plastics and jig heads and what have you immediately after this. But you got to have that slab sauce for what you already got.
Interesting that you talk about that. Of course, if you want to find out more, go to picolures.com.
Absolutely.
But interesting, you talk about seasoning to go on your lures. Look what we happen to have. Tell us about how this came about. This is your seasoning, and tell us about this right here.
With the YouTube channel, I was like, I need to come up with my own seasoning, and
right.
I just never really measured my seasoning, putting it on food. But when it came down to making, I said, well, now I need to figure out exactly what I'm doing. So I started playing with it. I would add more salt, take away salt, add more pepper, and just worked with it a couple months, and came up with this, and people seem to love it. I think it's the right blend of pepper, salt, garlic, little paprika. People seem to like it, so I'm pushing it right now.
I did notice it wasn't near as salty as a lot of seasonings out there.
It is only like 250, I think, grams of sodium, so it's not real high in salt. It has a little kick. But people seem to like it, and I'm happy with it.
It was good stuff. Just like slab sauce, man.
There we go.
It did the same thing to me. I had to step away after the first plate, loosen my belt, come back in, get another plate. I can't help myself.
So tomorrow, if I see you licking your fingers, it's because you put a little of this on that before you threw out your lures.
It happened. What would happen if we put some of that in a bottle of slab sauce? Maybe they just come out of the water ready to eat.
It would be Cajun slab sauce.
There you go.
They just pull them up out of the water and go to eating on them.
That's right. So you have other stuff too, though. Like you have some other things here that you went from seasoning to other products.
Starting putting a little merch on the channel. Do the spoons, hats, shirts. Do some tumblers. That's about it, though.
Oh. Is there more than one flavor of the seasoning, or is this just
That's the only one. If I can get this one going, I don't know what's next.
I'm not sure what you'd do to make that any different,
Some people have a bunch of different ones, but this is a pretty good, all seasoning. Yeah. Pretty much good on everything.
I think I could eat that on baked potatoes, too, and scrambled eggs. I know I could.
Scrambled eggs, yeah.
Put it on eggs. It's good on eggs in the morning. Cracklings, French fries. Yeah. I mean, we put it on everything, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. Crackling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we know what happened to them 80 pigs.
That may be my next video. I plan on doing a crackling video.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's really good. Homemade.
Yes, sir.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting hungry again. Was there anything left out there?
I'm not sure.
And some of them guys was.
They killed that pot. I thought I was going to have a lot left.
That's a big old pot, dude.
Yeah, I'm surprised it went that good. But.
It's amazing what happens. You get a bunch of fat, hungry fishermen in a room together, ain't it?
Well, I tell you what, if they want to find out more about the products that you have here and your seasoning, where would they go, and what's the social media outlets that they could go and find you at?
All my social media platforms is pretty much just KFred. Facebook, Instagram. It'll also pull up the YouTube channel, but the YouTube channel is actually called just Kendall Frederick is the name of it.
Okay.
And as far as the buying the stuff, I do have a website. It's www.kfishfred.com. You could purchase the seasoning there.
Okay.
I am in the Lafayette area and maybe 12 grocery stores and growing, but the people that are not in that area, they can go on that website to purchase any of this stuff here.
Okay.
Yep.
But I appreciate you guys having me this year.
Yeah, it sounds good. And you know what, Mitch? It's that time.
That's a wrap.
Like I always like to say, make sure you keep your hook sharp, your lures in the water. Oh, and maybe seasoning your fish with
season your
Cajun.
Season your bait to put a fish in the live well to season in the skillet.
Oh my goodness, we are out.
I am catchphrases.